The Stand of Leonidas, the Battle of Thermopylae. As dawn broke over the rugged landscape of ancient Greece, the sun cast a golden hue over the mountain pass known as Thermopylae, the Hot Gates. Amongst the rocky crags and lush greenery, a legendary confrontation brewed. The air was taut with anticipation, thick with the scent of sweat and iron, and the atmosphere crackled with the spirit of defiance. Leading the charge for the Greeks was a warrior whose resolve would reshape the course of history, King Leonidas of Sparta. King Leonidas, renowned for his indomitable spirit and unmatched prowess in battle, stood tall in his bronze armor, glimmering like the sun itself. His chiseled features bore the weight of impending warfare, a fierce gaze that burned with the fire of 1,000 suns. The road to this fateful day had been paved with whispers of dread, as the Persian Empire, the mightiest force the world had ever known, descended upon Greece with an army that seemed to darken the very horizon. As he surveyed the assembled troops, a collection of warriors from various Greek city-states, united in their fight against tyranny, he felt that familiar rush of excitement coursing through his veins. Among them stood loyal soldiers, the famed 300 Spartans, resolute and unflinching. To the side lingered members of the combined Greek forces, Athenians, Thespians, and other brave souls, amassing 7,000 strong, who answered the call to resist the cruel advance of King Xerxes and his vast army of 2.6 million soldiers. "Brothers!" Leonidas' voice rang out, firm but passionate. "Today, we stand against the tide of oppression. They come to subjugate us, to strip away our freedom and our honor. But we are Spartans. We are the sons of Hercules himself. We shall hold this pass, not just for ourselves, but for every free man in Greece. Today, we will become legends." A resounding roar erupted from the warriors, echoing off the mountains like a thunderclap. They felt their hearts leap with newfound courage, minds ignited by the prospect of glory or defeat, but driven by an unwavering determination to protect their homeland. The tide of battle approached as the furious clang of war drums resonated in the distance, a portent of the dark storm that was Xerxes' army. As the Persian horde swarmed their way into the narrow confines of Thermopylae, the Greeks stood resolute, a bulwark against the encroaching chaos, the narrow pass turning into a crucible of valor. The Persians charged, their numbers nearly infinite, a sea of armor and hostility. At the forefront, giants among men, wielding swords and spears, their disciplined ranks pushed into the fray. Nevertheless, the narrow terrain worked to the advantage of Leonidas and his warriors, transforming their apparent disadvantage into an opportunity for righteous confrontation. "Hold the line," Leonidas bellowed, gripping his spear tightly. As the first wave of Persian soldiers collided with the Greek front, chaos erupted, yet it was a structured chaos. Leonidas led the charge, spear flashing in lethal arcs, each thrust finding its mark with precision, each battle cry igniting the valor within his men. The Spartans fought with ferocity, their training far beyond any other warriors. They were the elite amongst the elite. Blood spilled on the rocky ground as the warriors of Greece pushed back against the relentless tide, taking down Persian after Persian in a meticulous dance of death. King Leonidas became a force of nature, a whirlwind of destruction. He moved like lightning, his bronze shields a protective barrier, his passion an infectious flame that rallied his comrades. "Together, we shall not falter," he shouted, cleaving through the enemy ranks, forcing them to retreat momentarily. But alas, the Persians were relentless. Xerxes, observing from afar, sent wave after wave. Their numbers seemed unending. The sun hung harshly above their jewel, its brightness a cruel reminder of what stood on the other side of this conflict: subjugation. The first day closed with grudging respect. The Persians, although massive in number, felt the sting of defeat against the tightly knit Greek ranks. But crucially, Leonidas knew that victory would not come easily, nor would it last without sacrifice. On the dawn of the second day, as the smoke of battle coiled into the sky like a mourning shroud, Leonidas called a council. "Brothers, I have been made aware that there lies a hidden path behind these mountains that could allow the Persians a flank against us. We cannot allow that to happen. We must send a contingent to hold the pass." With heavy hearts, warriors stepped forward to take up the mantle of sacrifice. The Thespians rallied behind him willingly, making the brave decision to stay and fight to the last man for the sake of their brothers. United against the impending onslaught, their resolve emboldened the Greeks. As the afternoon sun perched high above, casting unforgiving rays on the battlefield, the Persians engaged the Greeks once more, led by their ferocious commander, Hydarnes. What ensued was a tumultuous clash, the air thick with the clangor of steel striking steel, the cries of the wounded and fallen woven together into the fabric of conflict. Even as the Greek numbers dwindled, Leonidas fought like a lion, his spirit stirring in the hearts of his comrades. With unmatched tenacity, they battled through waves of foes, repelling charges, the relentless Persians facing the fearsome might of a cohesive force willing to die for freedom. Days turned into one last desperate stand, the last few remaining Spartan soldiers and their Greek allies encircled, surrounded by the overwhelming Persian swarm. The air was heavy with the scent of sweat and blood, a testimonial to the strength of unity and the will to protect. But they laughed in the face of their doom. Each warrior remembered what they fought for. They fought to be the shields of their children, to preserve their culture, and to defy oppression. Leonidas, with sweat dripping down his forehead and wounds adorning his body, roared defiantly, "We serve as the protectors of Greece. No man shall rob us of our honor." Bravery surged through their ranks. The lines held momentarily as they unleashed a final surge, fighting valiantly to the last breath, knowing their sacrifice would echo through time. When the end finally came, it was not in vain. The ripple of thunderous cries spread across the land, their legend igniting the hearts of those who would rise after them. News of their sacrifice spread like wildfire, igniting revolts across Greece and inspiring countless others to stand against the Persian might. Though the battle was lost at Thermopylae, the flames of resistance were kindled. Leonidas and his warriors became eternal symbols of bravery, strength, unity, and defiance against oppression. As the sun dipped behind the horizon, casting a bronze glow across the blood-stained earth, it illuminated the legacy left in the wake of their sacrifice. The underdogs of Sparta had stood tall against the overwhelming might of tyranny, and their story would resonate throughout the ages, a clarion call for all who would fight for freedom. In the end, it is not the might of armies that shapes history, but the undying spirit of a few courageous souls who dare to stand together. The Battle of Thermopylae is not merely about defeat. It is about heroism, unity, and the triumph of the human spirit. Thus, the shout of brave Leonidas remains etched in the annals of history. Never retreat, never surrender.